and amazing person to watch interact with our horses. So anyway, with that, Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, so my name is Samantha Harvey, and I started out with horses probably 30-something years ago. And my initial introduction to horses was very much in the competitive world, you know, and that we must accomplish things, we must do things, we must have a goal, and no matter what, we're going to accomplish it. And so I wound up evolving in competitions and a variety of different disciplines throughout the United States, traveling all over, working with top trainers. And eventually I went and rode in Europe under Olympians. And it was when I got to Europe that I definitely got an education, but it was learning everything I didn't expect to find out about. And as I started to see the mental stress and the physical wear and tear on the horses, I really had to take a step back and go, what is happening here? What is causing this breakdown? Also on the people, but mostly the horses. And this constant expectation that at all costs, we will accomplish X, Y, and Z. And so I really stepped back from that competition world, and I really had to reevaluate everything that I thought I knew, everything that I had prioritized in, you know, what did you win? What did you accomplish? You know, what did you make that horse do? What did you survive in the craziness of the horse and the adventure? And really take some time to think about how could I create a relationship with a horse where the horse wanted to participate, and then what would his performance be like? Then what would his willingness to interact with me be like? And that is the journey with many unexpected turns that I have been on for the last 20 years. And so nowadays I help people and horses try and come to a place of meeting in the middle, of open to a conversation, of being receptive to hearing each other's opinions and finding a balance of how to make things work. So much of what the human asks the horse is completely unnatural. So my goal is, how do we create a mentally willing horse so that physically he is reasonable and he's safe in his behavior, and also enjoy the journey on the way.
It's so fun. You sent, and I'm like, for whatever reason, I thought, well, why don't we just try to work with him? And so we, my sister had found Sam and read her articles and her blogs and just learned about how she really can work with really any kind of horse. And we were talking just yesterday that a lot of the horses tend to be those insecure, very sensitive horses that necessarily have pushback against the traditional ways of training. And even that language of training is not what Samantha uses in her work. So I have firsthand been working with her for the last month with this beautiful horse, and it has been absolutely incredible to see him start to unfold and relax. Yeah, and that relax is, I think, probably one of the major things that you start to offer a horse.
Well, I think one of the things too is there is such an urgency in our society. Time is money, hurry up, we must accomplish. And in our mind, even though for many people, even if they're not competitive, or even if they're competitive but not for their livelihood, they forget to enjoy the experience. And there's so much priority put on hurrying up and accomplishing something that they forget like why children enjoy riding and the laughter and the fun. And so really it's helping people, it's really giving people permission to slow down and to become mentally present and to actually see and believe what the horse is communicating. And then you see this completely different horse that can emerge because there's an opportunity for it. But when we're always rushing and driving and making and pushing and forcing
and trying to do the right
thing, or having pre-expectations or anticipation, this is what I have to work on today, as opposed to saying, where's my horse's brain today, and I need to work with that, get him to a better place, and then we can continue with what I wanted to work on. And that's where people are just always shocked at, like, a horse that they may have had for a long time that has been labeled. He's a bad horse, he's a dangerous horse, he's difficult, he's obstinate, he's resistant, all these people terminology that we apply to animals, which doesn't make any sense. It's really a reflection of the human. And unfortunately, as people start to slow down and they see how much the horse is reflecting the urgency from the human, the demands from the human, people don't always like what they see in the mirror. So a lot of what I do is really in looking at the human behaviors and patterns and approach. And people really have to kind of take a step back and look at themselves to say, what am I offering this horse? How am I giving this horse an opportunity to give me a different outcome so that we can find that place that is calm, that is quiet, that is enjoyable, where
that is relaxed, and they're breathing and they're like I talk about, and they're accessing their knowing.